Stop fooling yourself. You're not at peace because you're still clinging to what you should have already let go of. Your mind lives tied to people, memories, words that never arrived, and promises that were never fulfilled. You call it love, loyalty, or hope, but in reality, it's a chain that keeps you captive. No one can regain inner freedom if they insist on carrying everything that hurts them. You've handed over your calm to foreign hands, hoping that others will give you worth with their attention, their approval, or their presence. But every time you surrender your peace to something you can't control, you lose a piece of yourself. There's no worse prison than depending emotionally on someone or something to feel complete. Stoicism doesn't come to sweeten your wounds or tell you that everything is fine. It comes to remind you that life is hard, that the world isn't going to change for you, and that your real power lies in how you choose to react. You don't decide who leaves, who hurts you, or who forgets you, but you decide if those things continue to have power over you. Today, you don't need more superficial advice. What you need is to let go of the rope that keeps you trapped. Stop begging for answers. Stop chasing explanations. Stop living as if your happiness depended on someone else. Mental peace is not a gift that is expected. It's a conquest. In this video, there will be no soft words or excuses to justify your suffering. We're going to talk about emotional discipline, about courage to face your own attachments, and about the strength needed to love without chains, to be silent when silence is wiser, and to embrace the inevitable without breaking inside. If you're ready to stop being a hostage of your past and reclaim your inner freedom, then listen carefully to the lessons that are coming, because they will be the first step to return to yourself. 1. Let go of the rope. If you've ever seen someone sink into the water while desperately clinging to something that's dragging them down, you know that the hardest part isn't swimming to shore, it's letting go of what's sinking them. That's exactly what you do every time you cling to people, memories, or situations that no longer have a place in your life. You think that holding onto that rope keeps you safe, but in reality, it's what prevents you from surfacing. The first step to reclaiming your inner freedom is having the courage to let go. It sounds simple, but it's the most difficult act because it means accepting that what you were clinging to doesn't belong to you, doesn't define you, and isn't under your control. Letting go isn't abandoning or surrendering. It's reclaiming the right to breathe without depending on what you can't change. Many cling to broken relationships because they think that letting go equates to losing. Others hold on to old grudges because they believe that letting them go is forgiving the unforgivable. There are also those who don't let go of an idea of the future that never came, convinced that giving up that illusion means accepting failure. But the real failure is staying tied to something that doesn't let you move forward. The Stoics knew that the cause of suffering isn't in the facts, but in how we react to them. Epictetus summed it up like this: "It's not what happens to us that disturbs us, but what we think about it." If you understand this, you'll see that the rope tying you down isn't the person who left, nor the mistake you made, nor the time lost. It's your interpretation of what happened, your need to control everything. Letting go requires two things: courage to accept reality and humility to admit that not everything is in your hands. When you decide to stop fighting with what has already happened, you discover that the weight you were carrying wasn't the memory, but your resistance to letting it go. Start by asking yourself, what do I gain by holding on to this? Who benefits from me staying tied to a pain that changes nothing? The answer is almost always no one. The only thing you gain is to continue being a prisoner of what no longer exists. A practical way to let go is to write down what keeps you trapped. Put into words what hurts you, and then observe if that pain depends on something you can change. If not, acknowledge that that battle is over and that insisting on it is just unnecessary wear and tear. Then tear up the paper or store it away. It's a symbolic gesture, but powerful because it shows your mind that you're willing to let it go. Another Stoic practice is the dichotomy of control. Separate what is in your power from what is not. Your reaction, your habits, your words, your discipline, all of that is under your control. What others think, what they decide, or what time took away is not. When you focus only on what you can change, the rope loses its strength. Letting go isn't always a visible act. Sometimes it's not about blocking someone, burning old letters, or leaving a place. Sometimes letting go is stopping the cycle in your mind. It's stopping justifying, asking why, fantasizing about a different ending. It's the moment when you decide not to feed that story with your attention anymore. It may hurt at first. That's normal. The pain isn't a sign that you're wrong, but that the attachment is breaking. You'll feel it as emptiness, but that emptiness isn't loneliness. It's space. Space for peace to enter, for you to return to yourself, for you to learn to live without depending on something that no longer exists. Letting go of the rope is an act of rebellion against the idea that you need to cling to everything to avoid losing. 2. Love without chains. Love should not feel like a cage, but many have been taught to confuse it with possession. They believe that to love is to watch, demand, claim explanations for every silence, and expect the other person to become the main or only source of their happiness. This kind of love does not liberate, it enslaves. It makes you dependent on the mood, decisions, and presence of someone else. You lose your center every time you seek in others the security you should find within yourself. Loving without chains does not mean loving less. It means loving better. It means that you do not give up your dignity in exchange for crumbs of affection, that you do not give up your freedom for fear of being abandoned, that you do not chase anyone to prove your worth. When you love with chains, you become a hostage to need. When you love freely, you share without losing yourself. The love that Stoicism proposes is a love that respects the changing nature of life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Love the fate that is assigned to you," and this also applies to people. No one is obliged to stay forever, nor are you. When you understand this, you stop begging for attention and learn to enjoy the company while it is present, without obsessing over retaining it. Loving without chains begins by understanding that no one came into the world to complete you. Believing the opposite is the origin of many wounds. You do not look for your other half because you are not a half. You are a complete being who chooses to share his path. What you share is an extra, not a crutch to support your emptiness. Ask yourself, do you love because you want to share your life or because you fear being alone? If your answer leans towards fear, then what you feel is not love, it is dependence. And dependence always ends up suffocating the relationship and yourself. A Stoic practice to cultivate free love is conscious detachment. It does not mean coldness or indifference. It means that you remember that the other has his own destiny, his own decisions, and that you cannot control them. You love him for what he is, not for what you expect him to be. This type of love eliminates the resentment that arises when expectations are not met. It also involves stopping demanding constant proof. You do not need someone to repeat every day that they love you to believe it, nor review every gesture in search of signs of betrayal. The obsession with controlling others' feelings is a chain that you place yourself. Loving freely is trusting enough not to be measuring every step. If you want to practice it, start by strengthening your own worth. When you feel enough for yourself, you do not expect another to confirm your importance. Do things that nourish your character. Take care of your mental health. Learn to enjoy your own company. The person who feels complete does not look for chains to bind them. They look for hands to accompany them. A useful tool is daily reflection. Review your emotions towards the people you love. Ask yourself if what you do for them comes from affection or from the need to retain them. If you discover that you act out of fear, stop and redirect that energy towards your own growth. Mature love never comes from fear. Loving without chains also means knowing when to withdraw without hatred or resentment. Sometimes loving better is letting go, allowing the other to follow their path even if yours is different. Holding on just for not losing is a form of selfishness disguised as devotion. Free love does not promise the absence of pain, but it does avoid unnecessary suffering. 3. Embrace the silence. Silence is uncomfortable for those who fear to listen to themselves. Many people prefer constant noise, empty conversations, or social networks turned on day and night, just to avoid facing what their mind whispers when everything becomes quiet. But silence is not an enemy. It is the teacher that many avoid because it reveals truths that we do not always want to hear. Embracing silence is learning not to react to every external provocation or every internal emotion. It is to stop filling every pause with explanations, justifications, or unnecessary words. The modern world makes you believe that silence is emptiness, when in reality, it is the space where true clarity begins. Stoicism teaches that not everything deserves a response, nor does every problem require discussion. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best defense is not to appear affected. This does not mean indifference. It means that not everything deserves your energy, nor does every comment require your attention." Learning to be silent is sometimes more powerful than 1,000 arguments. Embracing silence is also an act of self-control. Often the impulse to speak comes from fear. Fear of losing the last word, fear of being misunderstood, fear that the other person believes they have won. But reacting without thinking usually makes things worse. Silence is not always surrender. It's often a declaration of mastery over oneself. In personal relationships, silence can be a refuge. You do not need to explain every decision you make or justify every step you take. The constant need to give explanations is another chain that steals your peace. People who truly respect you do not demand that you translate every silence. They understand that sometimes being silent is a way to protect your energy. To practice silence, start by observing before responding. Every time you feel the urge to answer quickly, pause. Ask yourself if what you are about to say adds value or just satisfies a wounded ego. That pause is the gateway to self-control. Another practice is to dedicate moments of the day to be completely silent, without distractions or screens. At first, it may be uncomfortable, but over time you will discover that silence is not empty, it is full of answers. It is the space where you can recognize your emotions without the external noise that distorts them. Embracing silence is also a tool for healing wounds. Many prolonged discussions only perpetuate pain, while a well-chosen silence breaks the cycle of conflict. Being silent does not erase what happened, but it allows you to process it without feeding more resentment. Silence teaches you to listen. When you stop filling spaces with words, you begin to notice what others really communicate with gestures, tones, and actions. You become more aware, more present. Stoicism is, in large part, learning to be present without being dragged by the noise of impulses. Imagine that your mind is a lake. Every unnecessary word, every useless argument, every repetitive thought is a stone that stirs the water. Silence is when you stop throwing stones and the lake begins to calm down, revealing the clear reflection of what lies beneath. Embracing silence is not easy in a world that rewards scandal and confuses volume with power. But the real power lies in the calm of those who do not need to shout to be respected or speak to feel strong. 4. Live in the now. Most people don't live in the present. They dwell among ghosts of the past or illusions of the future. They wake up thinking about what they can no longer change or what doesn't yet exist, and meanwhile, the moment before them slips away like water through their fingers. It's ironic. The only real moment is the one you're living right now, and yet it's the one most often neglected. Living in the now doesn't mean forgetting the past or ignoring the future. It means not allowing either of them to steal your present moment. The past has no power over you except for the power you choose to give it. And the future, no matter how carefully you plan it, remains uncertain. The only thing you can truly inhabit, enjoy, and transform is the current moment. Stoicism insisted on this truth because it understood how easily the human mind enslaves itself to what was and what might be. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The life of each person is composed of the present. What remains is either past or uncertain." The phrase hits hard because it's true. What you live today is the only thing that truly belongs to you. The problem is that we often mistake worrying for preparing. Thinking about what could go wrong tomorrow doesn't make you stronger. It only drains the energy you need to face today. Constantly reliving what already happened doesn't make you wiser. It only reopens wounds that should be healing. To live in the now, you must train your attention. This isn't a self-help slogan, it's a conscious practice. It means that when you eat, you eat. When you walk, you walk. When you listen, you truly listen. It means you're not checking your phone while talking to someone, or drifting into imagined futures while enjoying a meal. One way to practice presence is to pause several times a day and ask yourself, where am I right now, here or lost in my thoughts? At first, you'll notice that you're almost always somewhere else, trapped in memories, worries, or distractions. With practice, you'll learn to bring your attention back to the present. Living in the now also requires accepting what happens without decorating it with unrealistic expectations. Not everything will be perfect, and that's okay. The insistence that things be different from what they are is what creates suffering. When you learn to accept the moment as it is, you stop fighting reality and find peace amid the chaos. Imagine standing before a sunset. But instead of admiring it, you think about how you'd rather be somewhere else, with someone else, or wish the sky had different colors. That's how we waste life, losing what we have because we're obsessed with what we think is missing. The Stoics taught the remembrance of life's brevity as a way to value the present. The practice of memento mori wasn't morbid, but liberating. Remembering that time is finite makes you stop postponing life. Every moment you spend worrying about what you can't control is a moment that never returns. You must also learn to let go of the illusion that the future will bring the happiness you lack today. If you can't find it in what you already have, it's unlikely you'll find it in something new. Inner peace isn't a destination you'll reach someday. It's a way of walking today. Living in the now doesn't make you irresponsible toward the future or indifferent to the past. It makes you aware that life isn't found in what's gone or in what might come, but in what you breathe and choose in this very instant. 5. Master your emotions. The real enemy has never been the outside world. It has always been the storm that forms within you when something doesn't go as you expected. It's not the offense that destroys your peace, but the rage you choose to feed. It's not the loss that breaks you, but the fear of the void you imagine afterwards. Most human suffering does not come from events, but from the lack of mastery over the emotions that these events awaken. Mastering emotions does not mean repressing them or pretending they do not exist. It means recognizing them, understanding where they come from, and learning to respond consciously instead of reacting impulsively. Emotions are messengers. They come to tell you something. But if you leave them in charge, they become tyrants making decisions for you. Stoicism teaches that you do not control what happens, but you do control how you respond to it. That phrase, which seems simple, is one of the most liberating truths you can accept. You can't prevent it from raining, but you can decide whether to get wet with resentment or open the umbrella of calm. When you lose emotional control, you surrender your power to the external, to the words of others, to their opinions, to the unforeseen. You live at the mercy of the world's weather and not the balance of your mind. And a person who lets themselves be carried away by every wave is incapable of maintaining their course towards their goals. Mastering your emotions is an act of maturity. It is telling yourself, I'm not going to react immediately just because my ego was hurt. It is learning to pause before responding, to breathe before exploding, to observe the thought before believing it. A practical exercise is the conscious pause. Every time you feel that anger, fear, or sadness take control, stop. Count slowly to 10, breathe deeply and ask yourself, what is this emotion telling me? Do I really need to act at this moment, or can I wait to think clearly? That pause is usually enough to avoid words you would later regret. Another tool is writing. Keeping an emotional journal is not a hobby. It is a way to get out what you carry inside so that it does not rule from the shadows. When you describe what you feel, you take power away from the inner chaos. What once seemed like a storm becomes something understandable, something you can manage. Emotional mastery also requires monitoring what feeds your mind. Spending hours consuming other people's conflicts, criticisms on social media, or alarming news strengthens the habit of reacting with anger or anxiety. If you take care of what you allow into your mind, you will have fewer battles to fight within you. Remember that mastering emotions is not about eliminating pain. Pain is inevitable. You will lose, you will be disappointed, you will suffer injustices. What you can avoid is the added suffering that arises from resistance, from wanting things to be different than they are. Imagine that you are in the middle of a storm at sea. You can't stop the rain or calm the wind, but you can control the rudder. That rudder is your mind. As long as you keep it steady, it doesn't matter how high the waves are. You will continue to steer your ship where you want to go. An emotionally dominated person is not cold or distant. They are someone whose serenity becomes strength. They inspire respect because they do not crumble under provocation or lose their dignity in anger. If you want to regain your inner freedom, start by not being a slave to what you feel. Emotions are fleeting. Don't let them decide your destiny. 6. Be grateful for what you have. Constant dissatisfaction is like a bottomless pit. No matter how much you try to fill it, it always demands more. Many people live believing that happiness lies on the other side of what they do not yet have, and this endless pursuit becomes a mental trap that steals their peace. They ask the universe for more opportunities, more love, more recognition, but rarely do they stop to acknowledge the value of what they already possess. Being grateful for what you have is not a cheesy act or a trendy phrase. It is one of the most powerful tools to regain inner freedom. Whoever does not learn to value what is in front of them will be a slave to perpetual desire, because they will always believe that something is missing. Stoicism understood this very well. The wise did not suffer from lack of riches because they knew that the essential was already within them. Gratitude does not arise from having everything, but from knowing how to see enough in what is already present. It means waking up each day recognizing that you have life, that you can still breathe, that you retain the opportunity to change what you do not like. When you overlook these truths, you live as if life owes you something, and that condemns you to frustration. Practicing gratitude does not imply ignoring your goals or settling for what does not work. It means that you do not condition your peace on what has not yet arrived. It is understanding that the value of what you have today is not diminished by what you are still pursuing. To develop it, start with the simple. Upon waking, mention 3 things you are grateful for, no matter how small they may seem. It can be health, the roof that shelters you, the presence of a loved one, or even the lessons that difficulties left behind. This habit trains your mind to focus on what adds rather than what is missing. Another Stoic practice is to remember the impermanence of things. Everything you have today might not be there tomorrow. The people you love, your health, your time. This thought does not seek to depress you, but to awaken you. It invites you to take advantage of and care for what you now possess. Marcus Aurelius used to reflect on the brevity of life so as not to waste the present with complaints. Gratitude also transforms the way you face problems. When you are grateful even for challenges, you stop seeing them as punishments and recognize them as opportunities to strengthen yourself. The pain that you once considered unfair becomes a teacher. In addition, being grateful for what you have weakens envy and comparison. There is no heavier chain than measuring your life against others. When you practice gratitude, you recognize that others' success does not diminish your own worth or your possibility of improvement. Think of someone who loses everything overnight. Suddenly, they understand the treasure that was in the everyday, in what they previously took for granted. Do not wait for life to take something away from you to start valuing it. Gratitude is, in the end, an act of freedom because it teaches you not to depend on external circumstances to feel at peace. It's like opening your eyes in the middle of a storm and discovering that even though it's raining, you can still move, you can still breathe, there's still something to care for and protect. Whoever learns to be grateful for what they have does not become complacent, they become strong. Because they no longer walk through the world with a sense of lack, but with the certainty that they have enough to keep going. That certainty gives you back power and serenity. It stops enslaving you, the desire for more, and the heart finds rest. 7. Give without expecting. The real weight of many disappointments is not in what you give, but in what you expect to receive in return. We were taught that every gesture deserves a reward, that every favor should return multiplied, and that every show of affection must be reciprocated. With that mindset, even the noblest act ends up becoming a transaction disguised as kindness. When you give with the expectation of receiving, you condemn yourself to frustration, because life rarely returns things in the way and time you imagine. Giving without expecting is an act of liberation. It means that your generosity does not depend on the response of the other, that your peace is not tied to the gratitude of others or to the results you never controlled. What you give with the heart is already complete in itself. It does not need external validation. Stoicism reminds us that virtuous acts have value for what they are, not for the applause they get. Seneca said that true good is done for the love of good, not for the reward. Practicing this principle protects you from the bitterness that arises when you help someone and do not receive the recognition you expected. When you give expecting to receive, your intention ceases to be genuine. Even affection can become a form of disguised manipulation because you seek to influence the other to give you something back. This emotional dependency poisons relationships and turns giving into an invisible contract that sooner or later breaks. Start by questioning your motivations. Do you do it because it comes from you or because you expect a gesture in return? If you discover that behind your generosity there is a hidden expectation, it is time to change perspective. The real value is in acting according to your principles, not in others responding according to your desire. A simple practice is to offer something small every day, a word of encouragement, a kind gesture, time, help, without announcing it, without seeking looks of approval. Over time, you will notice that the deepest satisfaction does not come from the reaction of others, but from consistency with yourself. Giving without expecting also applies in the closest relationships. Sometimes we believe that affection should be measured. I gave you this, now it's my turn to receive. This mentality destroys intimacy because it turns love into a constant balance. Loving freely means that you choose to offer the best of you because it is who you decide to be, not because you expect an identical return. When you learn to give without expecting, you discover that resentment loses power. No one can disappoint you for not responding as you wanted, because your peace did not depend on it. This attitude also strengthens your character. It teaches you to act out of conviction, not for reward. The greatest benefit of giving in this way is that it gives you control over your own satisfaction. You no longer live pending the responses of others or external rewards. What you give defines you, not the recipient. In a world where everything is measured and negotiated, whoever gives without expecting recovers a rare and powerful freedom, that of living true to their own values, without invisible chains that tie them to the approval of others. 8. Embrace the inevitable. The most exhausting struggle is not against what happens, but against what we insist on denying. We spend much of our lives resisting facts that we cannot change. The loss of someone, the passage of time, unexpected endings, the decisions of others. We want things to be different, and when we fail to achieve it, we get stuck in frustration. It is not the pain that destroys mental peace, but the resistance to accept it. Embracing the inevitable does not mean giving up or passively resigning. It is an active acceptance, a way of looking at reality head-on without running away or embellishing it. It is recognizing that certain battles are fought only within the mind, where we try to rewrite the past or stop the natural course of changes. Stoicism teaches that serenity is born when we stop fighting against what we do not control. Epictetus said that freedom is achieved by aligning with the nature of things, not by forcing them to conform to our desires. The inevitable, by definition, cannot be twisted. We can only decide how to face it. One of the greatest examples of this struggle occurs with time. We want to stop it, go back, advance it according to our convenience. That battle is futile, but many live enslaved to it, lamenting the lost years or anxious for those that have not yet arrived. Embracing the inevitable is learning to live the passage of time without resentment, to see each wrinkle, each change, as a natural part of the path. It is also about accepting that not every ending is a tragedy. Many doors close to open others, but we do not see it because we are too busy crying over the one that closed. When you embrace the inevitable, you stop insisting on reviving what has already ended and start building on what you have today. To practice it, start by asking yourself, what of this is out of my control? Make a mental list of everything that does not depend on you. The decisions of other people, the weather, the past, the course of time. Then stop wasting energy trying to change them. That released energy you can invest in what is in your hands, your attitude, your response, your actions. Embracing the inevitable also means letting go of the fantasy of immediate justice. Life will not always be fair according to your standards, and demanding that it be only prolongs suffering. True strength lies in maintaining your dignity even when the world does not play in your favor. Not confusing acceptance with coldness is key. Acceptance is not becoming insensitive. It is allowing yourself to feel the pain without choosing to live in it. It is crying over what hurts and then continuing to walk, knowing that clinging to what cannot be changed is carrying a stone that prevents progress. Mental peace does not come from a world without problems, but from learning not to break before the inevitable. Whoever embraces it stops wasting their energy on fights they cannot win and invests it in building what they can transform. That is true freedom, to stop being a prisoner of what was never under your control. Thank you for staying until the end of the video. If you watched the whole thing, comment, "I am Stoic," as our secret signal to know that you're a true student of Stoicism. Don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video, and remember, keep cultivating your Stoic mind.